thank you very much for giving us your time on this important topic yet again, 1 year on actually.
And so often, I can't help feeling the problem is how do you join up all the dots between different departments and different agencies throughout the country and voluntary organisations. There was a wonderful old Irishman I knew years ago who said that two sheep's heads are always better than one. And it's true, if you bring more people together who are involved in the same sort of field, then there's a great deal more you can achieve. So I'm enormously grateful to you all, and I look forward very much to seeing the actual progress on the ground, which would make a huge difference to so many parents nowadays who otherwise they're devastated by the terrifying results of violent land crime.
I often ask myself, because we've got a 17-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl, I often ask myself, how would I react? And I'm not sure I can say hand on heart that I would have the courage and resilience that you have to do what you do for other people. It is inspiring, it is humbling, and it inspires me and it inspires this government, which is why we're sitting around this table.
Just briefly to follow on what the Prime Minister has said, we're obviously a year on since the meeting we had here.
I'd love to encourage you to encourage young people to have an entrepreneurial spirit about their own futures, so that young people can invest in themselves. I think that Martin at Charlie's Promise talked about reaching those kids as young as 8 years old. I know my son, he's 11, he got himself a 3D printer and was selling stuff on the doorway. Now, that's entrepreneurial, but it's also investing in his future. So I think the positivity is really important to spread.
Haven't seen eye to eye. Some of the work I do, we're just trying to
Spend some time looking at some of the things we've discussed, but some of the progress that we've made, some of the positive action that's being taken in communities across the UK to support young people and offer them opportunity. First of all, if there is a microphone, Sky might benefit from that. Remember, sir, we went up to Scotland and heard about that, and Sky perhaps...
At the table we discussed how far we've came in the past year, but we're not exactly where we want to be. There's still a lot more change that needs to be done.
and that just starts to break the cycle that's been there for many.
So I'm Shaw-Tullin, current serving Royal Marine Commando, full-time GB boxer. It was very difficult to get to this place as I was a victim of knife crime myself at the age of 17.
And interestingly, some of the conversations we were having were around what age we pitched this at and the importance of getting to children at key stage 2.
Amazing to work with so much young people that came from different backgrounds and actually want to make an active change.
Being able to say that I played at Sankey Soap Mill is a really iconic opportunity. So yeah, without people like Idris and opportunities like this, I don't know where I would be, to be honest.
So thank you very much to Idris and the Elba Hope Foundation for that.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. It'd be a sort of through the year when you realise that protectability.
Yeah, and that we're young, so I'm really sorry about that. I definitely wanted to reach out to you.
Gary, down the road at Taylor Trust.
How you doing, Gary? Good to see you. At the first one, we had young people there. It was really important to have their voices there. And then this year we had more young people. And it really does underline that, you know, if you want to help someone, listen to them because they're going through it. And that's where we've seen a lot of really smart thinking, things that we wouldn't think about of a certain generation, young people are seeing, and especially what doesn't work. That's really important. What's changed is there are, this time year, more people around the table, more different types of organisations, more younger people. What's changed is that we've put laws into place that weren't there, Ronan's Law, for example. There's definitely more work to be done. I think His Majesty was definitely encouraged by the group and the updates, but there's more work to be done, especially having a solid plan. You know, the government has talked about halving knife crime in half over 10 years, and we're yet to see an actual plan for that. So hopefully when the Knife Crime Coalition reconvenes in September, that's what we're aiming for, that we actually have a tangible plan.
Strategy. I bring life. We have. This is about that's really helpful.
Throw my phone in the bin and go.
At the table, we discussed how far we've came in the past year, but we're not exactly where we want to be. There's still a lot more change that needs to be done.
So I think it's really important that we raise the voice of our young people, we listen to them, but we make sure that we're educating them at that age. Thank you.
Martin, thank you. So we had a very big discussion on that topic. We also had a discussion on sports, the arts, the creative sectors, and what they can do to divert and inspire young people. So perhaps if we can get a mic over to Shaw-Tullin, just to talk to us about.
But boxing was so important because it meant 6 nights a week away on the streets. I knew where I'd be. I'd always be in the gym, especially Friday night. Friday night, he always called it naughty night. So I would.
Over here. Thank you. So Matthew's benefited from the Creative Futures programme and is going to talk a little bit about his experience there. So Matthew.
Yeah, hi, my name's Matthew. I was on Idris Elba's Creative Futures course for Get Started with DJing. Prior to that,
for the police to see children and for the children to see police as human beings as well. And that just starts to break the cycle that's been there for many years. Another bit of the work that I see that needs some more support on is parents. A lot of the times when young people are being attacked, you know, I see a lot of it's the parents' fault. Who will support the parents and what support is it?
Can I also say thanks to those involved in Idris's brilliant Don't Stop Your Future campaign, and also to the families of victims of knife crime. And I have to say, and I've said this to a number of people around the table personally, but I say it again, you are inspirational, and I mean that in the true sense of the word, inspiring people across the country, including me. I find it really humbling that people that have been through some of the most horrendous ordeals are able then somehow to turn that around and channel it into work to help other people that they will probably never meet and never know. And that is quite incredible. I often ask myself, because we've got a 17-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl, I often ask myself, how would I react? And I'm not sure I can say hand on heart that I would have the courage and resilience that you have to do what you do for other people. It is inspiring, it is humbling, and it inspires me and it inspires this government, which is why we're sitting around this table.
And it has been a year where, in truth, there's been some amazing milestones. We've seen some things happen, and that's great. But there's also been a small rise in knife crime at the same time. Okay, and compared to the year before, that rise in knife crime might be less than the year before, but it was still a rise. So we can't take our foot off the pedal. We have to stay focused. But I think something that Naomi said that's really important is that positive energy, positive stories really matters. It's really interesting hearing a young man that's actually gone and survived a knife attack and talking about how positive mentorship has helped him, and that's what we're all doing now, and we have to focus on doing.
And I was riveted to hear what Keir was saying about his experiences, because it does seem to be what she was saying about being too exhausted to get into trouble is quite a good point, actually, when you're a teenager. And otherwise you've got so much energy which can go in the wrong way if it's not helped to go in a positive and constructive direction. So that was a good point. And I think the other thing was what Serena was saying too, about listening to what works and doesn't work. That is absolutely critical, I think. After 50 years of the Prince Trust, King's Trust, hopefully we do try to find out a little bit about that. But I think as a result of all this and everybody coming together with so many different organisations, there was a wonderful old Irishman I knew years ago who said that two sheep's heads are always better than one. And it's true, if you bring more people together who are involved in the same sort of field, then there's a great deal more you can achieve. So I'm enormously grateful to you all, and I look forward very much to seeing the actual progress on the ground.